Charleston, South Carolina. Gullah Geechee culture, huh? Now, I just had this conversation with my sister, and I was like, I don't understand why we keep having this conversation all over my timeline, and it's like every other video is somebody from Charleston posting it. I actually said I wasn't going to post a video about it, but I feel like I need to, because every time any video I post gets some traction, the most comments that I received is, are you from Charleston? Are you from South Carolina? Are you from a variety of different places in the Low Country? Are you Bohemian? I also hear like Virgin Islands or like Trinidad and Tobago and stuff like that. The reality of what I'm starting to notice is that a lot of people do not understand what the Gullah Geechee culture is. A lot of the time, even with people in person, when they hear my accent, they be like, where you from? Charleston. I knew it. You a Geechee. Okay, so that... I know you don't mean any harm by it, and so I'm actually not offended. But my sister, she actually gets very offended, because to her, when people say, oh, you a Geechee or you Geechee, a lot of the times people equate that to a certain level of ignorance, because there's a lack of knowledge in relation to what the Gullah Geechee culture actually is. So let's have a conversation. Let me give you some background. The Gullah Geechee culture is almost like a vernacular of a certain group of people. So think about it this way. Different generations use different terminology. Then in this fashion, it's a culturally specific language. And it is directly related to slavery. So if you know anything about the African American history, you know that Charleston was a major port of slaves entering America. And with that in mind, because a lot of these people never really had a full-blown education, the way that they would communicate would be broken English to a certain degree. However, they also spoke in a lot of analogies, and they also used certain terminology, because remember, as slaves, they had to be very intelligent to be able to talk around the slave masters and their counterparts to be able to communicate certain things. And you will see this very specifically in the kind of music that they would sing, even in the way that there are certain phrases and terminology that we use, like in it is really ain't it. Or isn't it? I'm sorry. In it is actually isn't it. It is, isn't it? Just to give you like a prime example of a word. I can't really think of a word immediately, but a lot of what we say and how we say it is closely related to the fact that they just spoke in a certain level of broken English. But to be honest with you, Gullah Geechee is a language. It's just like Spanish. It's just like French. It's just like Chinese. It's just like any other language. Gullah Geechee is a language. So to say to somebody that they are a Geechee or you got that Geechee, that's actually inappropriate for you to say. Now, again, I don't take it the wrong way, because I realize it's ignorance. People don't know. I just want y'all to understand that there are lots of people that sound like people from Charleston. Okay? So people from Charleston, people from Moncks Corner, and pretty much from Charleston to like Moncks Corner and a little bit beyond that. So like some of Georgetown can sound like that. But once you get past that, then they start, everybody else in South Carolina kind of has that normal southern drawl. Now, other places that have it, sometimes when you go to Jamaica, some people might say you sound like them, but I honestly don't think so. New Orleans specifically, they will say that, and sometimes it can be certain parts of Louisiana. I haven't been everywhere in Louisiana, so I can't speak to that. Beyond that, it's like Trinidad and Tobago. I actually went to college with individuals from there, and they have stated that Charleston is considered a sister city to them. So, and then also the Bahamas, so Bohemian people. I just want the record to show that there are people that are fully aware of what the Gullah Geechee culture is and what the Gullah Geechee language is. But I just want people who are so infatuated with our accent to also open up your minds to the fact that this is literally how some people talk all the time. Now, the younger generations of people, we are diverse enough that we can kind of turn it down a little bit. Now, when I'm on here, I don't really care to do that. Obviously, I can't cut my accent completely off. But what I will say is it's levels to it, okay? So I don't live in Charleston anymore. So my accent is not as bad until I go home. Or until a lot of my Charleston people are in my presence here. And the crazy thing is, I do have friends from Charleston, but we are the minority, so it's not extreme. But once I go home and I'm amongst my people and then I come back, it's very strong and thick for a long time. Now, for me, it is important that I keep my Gullah Geechee connections because I want to share that with my child. Because my child is in a very interesting position where she has a parent from the low country of South Carolina and a parent from the upper state, which is two very different experiences, two very different environments and cultures. And so I want to be able to share all of that with her. So my hope is that as y'all keep hearing all these people from Charleston talking about all these different areas, cities, towns, things of that nature that have a similar accent, or just your curiosity about the Gullah Geechee culture and language alike, educate yourself, please, before you get on this internet and start seeing all kind of crazy stuff that you know nothing about. Okay, thanks.